Marhaba, good morning. It's great to be here with all of you to talk about innovation for impact. But before I get there, I really want to thank all of you for making Schneider Electric for the last 40 years a very, very successful company and one of the most sustainable companies in the world. Big thank you for that. We are innovating for impact, and innovation is to make sure that we are changing the lives of the people, and we are driving sustainability, working with all of you, and that's what motivates us, and that's what we have been looking forward to. This place in Turkey, in Central Asia, has a very important role to play because it is one of the leading places for energy transition. We've had the last 3 COPs, including the one that is coming, which is going to be held in this territory. And also, Turkish contractors are one of the leading contractors in the world, as well as is the great Turkish workforce for Europe. We are committed to this place, to this region, and we are bringing the new technologies that are going to drive us and take us forward into the future. So for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to talk about the innovations that we are bringing, how we see the world. But before we go there, let's start with this movie that tells you a little bit about Schneider Electric from a different perspective.
The world is full of people telling you who to believe they are. Well, we thought we'd tell you who we're not. Let's start here. We're not in shipping. We don't make lifts. Seriously, no lifts. We do this. We're good at this. And we make all of these. And even though you'll find us here and here, we don't make energy. We make you save it, which is just one way we help you make an impact. Are we an internet company? Well, we connect and power just about everything around you, helping machines talk to each other and to you, making your world more personal. We're seeking out the big questions and answering them honestly. Like, how can we make the most of our energy and resources? Or can we make access to energy and digital basic human rights? We're real people, employees, developers, partners, investors, and inventors, all passionate about making an impact. We're open, humans of all sorts from all over, learning from each other and about each other. We're not here to save the world. It'll go on with or without us. We're here to be your digital partner for sustainability and efficiency, to ensure life is on everywhere, for everyone, at every moment.
So yes, that's what we want to be, to make an impact, working together with all of you. So let's look at some of the trends that are shaping the world as we go forward, and how the technologies of Schneider Electric are contributing towards making the difference. I'd like to start with the new global equilibrium. We were living in a world which was globalized, which was interdependent, but over the last several years, we have seen, unfortunately, that is changing, and that is moving into a more multipolar setting. There are trade wars, there are supply chain constraints which are happening. At the same time, we also have to make sure that we are surviving, and we are making sure that there is continuity of our businesses in this changing geopolitical world. What we are seeing is there is a move towards more regionalization, more near-shoring, in order to ensure that there is a continuity of supply chains. There is also, from a government perspective, there is more protectionism that is coming in. There are more issues of made in that are happening everywhere. And we have to ensure a continuity of our operations in this changing dynamics. At the same time, this is bringing some opportunities as well. If I look at Turkey, for example, this is at the intersection of Europe and Asia on one side, as well as it is the one that is joining the north and the south, right? So a very important place in the world, and at the same time a place which could benefit from this trend of reshoring, of the economies decoupling and looking for new places in order to invest. What we have seen is that as a consequence of this, more and more companies are looking for the power of two, or looking for where they could make their second manufacturing, their second base, so that they can serve the customers. And this is what is a moving trend more and more. So this is what is going to make supply chain more resilient, more autonomous, and of course we have to make sure that they are cyber secure as well as sustainable. Technologies of Schneider Electric are able to do that, and the good news is that we are able to bring here the same technologies that are available in the other parts of the world at the same time, with the same experience to all of you, our customers, that some of your companies have experienced elsewhere, or some of your customers have experienced and want the same level of service coming from this part of the world. Moving on, this is what we are also seeing is the evolution of wealth together with population growth that is happening, and wealth creation that is accompanying that, with the change in, I would say, the geopolitics, the change in terms of governance, which is more focused on improving the lives of people. There is clearly a wealth creation linked with the growth of the economies. This part of the world represents, together with Africa, which is how we look at it, represents almost 7% of the world GDP, and it is growing faster than the rest of the world. At the same time, this has a population which is, looking for more wealth. There's going to be an addition of close to 2 billion in the world, and about 500 million are going to be added in this part of the world just by 2030. Those people need the same lifestyle, the same quality of life that is available today in any other part of the developed world. And clearly this is there will be need for solutions that are going to just enable that for the population living here. And it's no surprise that this is already happening, and it's happening fast. World's leading airports, if you can say that as a sign of how development has happened here. Today in the top 10, probably 4 or 5 leading airports are just from this region. Moving on, if you look at climate change, which is the other trend, needs no introduction. We are already seeing the impact of that. Early 2024, 1.5 degrees, some experts say, is already here. So we are now facing the consequences of that, and it's something that we have to live with. Almost 3.6 billion people in the world, which is roughly half of the world, is impacted by extreme weather changes that are happening, and that causes a lot of challenges for us. Now, at the same time, the good news is that in the last COP, we've had over 120 countries that are now committed to achieving net zero. They have committed to having doubling the energy efficiency goals that have been set up by them. At the same time, there are over 6,000 companies that are now committed on this direction of net zero. And the good news is that these companies are increasing, and actually they have tripled in the last 3 years. So the momentum is good. At the same time, Schneider Electric, which is first embracing this, at the same time bringing the same solutions for our customers, is at the forefront, and something that we see that we can contribute. I mentioned that almost close to 100 countries that contribute to 95% or 90% of the global carbon dioxide emissions have already committed in this direction, and that's great news. It comes together with a lot of investment. We know about the European Green Deal. I know there's a Green Deal which is there also in Turkey. Then we have the famous IRA in the US. So close to $2 trillion being committed over a period of time, and clearly this brings opportunities for us to be able to contribute towards, but also take from all the development that is happening as a consequence of that. Companies are adopting, I mentioned that before, 6,000 corporations have now taken targets, and that number is growing. It is all over the world. It is not just a prerogative of US and Europe to do that. In the rest of the world, and especially here, more and more companies are getting on the bandwagon of net zero. At the same time, what we are also seeing is that while the commitment is there and is increasing, only 12% are delivering on their targets. And the question, therefore, is why is the case? And at Schneider Electric, we did a survey about a year ago to find out what is the reason that is not accelerating this pace of sustainability. And what we see is that here are some of the reasons that have been mentioned by our customers. Now, Schneider Electric is your partner and is a partner of those companies. Today, almost 50% of the Fortune 500 companies are using our solutions. The good news is we can bring those solutions for large companies, for small companies, for medium-sized companies, all across all spectrum. And we will today be showing some of those, right here in this Innovation Summit. At the same time, there are companies that are moving ahead. Pleased to share about Turkcell. We are here in this auditorium, which is branded by Turkcell. Schneider Electric has been partnering with them for the data centers for several years, for last 10 years. And we have been bringing them using our EcoStruxure platform that is helping them monitor and manage the data center, including the operations that are driving high uptime and efficiency. Moving on, data centers, in continuation with that, we know that the next trend that we say is around digitization and artificial intelligence. Clearly, this is one of the biggest changes of our times that has happened. It is first about digitization, and once we have made everything digital, then we overlay it with artificial intelligence once we have the data, and then we are able to drive even more the benefit of digitization put together. This, I would say, is, if you look at how generative AI has been adopted, it took 2 months to get to the same pace at which I'm sure that you have seen this data before, while it took 7 years for the World Wide Web to happen. This is clearly unprecedented in terms of adoption and the opportunities it throws up, as well as some of the challenges. Now, for us, it is what we see is it is driving a lot of demand for compute. Therefore, it is driving a lot of demand for data centers, and depends on which side we are on, it is clearly a big opportunity for each one of us in terms of leveraging this data. What we have seen is that while energy is required for growth, we talked about wealth creation, it comes together with a lot of energy and a lot of, that would then generate a lot of wealth. The second side of energy is intelligence, that we need more energy to drive more intelligence. And this is how energy is becoming so crucial, while at the same time, we have to see how we are transiting this energy into into green forms. Now, we can only have artificial intelligence and the full benefits of that if we have data, right? The first episode of the internet was around people to people, and now the second episode or the third episode is a lot about people to machines and machines to machines. And the interconnection of all three of them between people to people, people to machines, and machines to machines. And this is what is going to change the way we do things, the way we operate. We are already seeing that. We have more things to do with our mobile phones today than we do with any other things, and that's becoming so central to it, thanks to all the availability of different applications that run on data and the interactions between that. The same thing is happening in our industry, in industrial settings, in various settings, which is that there is a proliferation of sensors that is happening that can help ensure that we drive better experience, better outcomes, more energy efficiency. Example here that we are showing is with Swire Properties, which is a leading company in Hong Kong. Very similar to, I would say, what you have in Istanbul. They use over 47,000 sensors and are able to ensure that they drive a lot of energy efficiency together with the experience for their customers who are working and operating out of the Swire buildings. Similarly, here we have Erdemir, which is one of the, I would say, leading companies that is manufacturing flat steel. They have been using our Aveva software, and that is interconnected with hundreds of connected points and is generating and helping them manage their company better and ensuring that they get the same benefits that I talked about earlier. Another example which is with organized industrial zones. Turkey clearly benefiting from some of the mega trend that we talked earlier. Here, 33% of the energy consumption is happening in the industrial setting, and the industrial zones, which are going to play a key role in driving further industrialization in the region, are using renewable energy. So here we have these two industrial zones that have been using almost 550 megawatt of new installed capacity, 50% of which is going to be renewable. And with Schneider Electric, we are helping them manage their grid, because as we automate and as we bring renewable energy, we need to automate it so that we are able to balance it with all the fluctuations of the weather, as well as when the sun is away or the wind is not blowing. And this is where technologies of smart grids come in very, very useful, thanks to the digitization that is now possible, that we can move very flawlessly into renewable energy. And this is one example right here in Turkey for that. Another one for digitization is Volvo, a very different setting, a machine builder. We know that Turkey is one of the leading OEM manufacturers for machines. So Volvo is an advanced packaging company which has been at the edge of innovation, as well as, as they serve different industries through their packaging solutions. At Schneider Electric, we have been working with them with their using the Machine Expert Twin software, which has helped them drive, first, it helped them ensure that the design time for the machines is reduced by 20%. The machines are using much lesser mechanical components, therefore they can deliver the machines faster thanks to that digital design, as well as are able to bring much higher uptime and energy reduction to their customers using the full advantage of digital. We can give you several examples of that, but clearly it is a trend that we need to adopt and move faster on, much more faster, because one of the things that we say is that the adoption of digital is still not there, but the benefits are right here, and some of these examples showed exactly that. Last but not the least is about energy transition, and clearly, this is, we want energy is required for growth, so we need a lot of energy, but at the same time, we have to transform the type of energy we are using. We need to move away from burning molecules to moving electrons, as we consume energy. Now, when we talk about energy, it's very important for us to also keep in mind that there are today 1 billion people in the world who either don't have access to energy or electricity or don't have access to reliable energy, and we need to make sure that we are bringing that. At the same time, we will have 2 billion more people in the world by 2050, so the overall equation becomes much more complicated, that we need to bring energy to 3 billion more people. At the same time, since we have to bring energy, extra energy, we need to make sure that that energy is green, that energy is in some form of renewable, and if we have to build anything new, we need to be doing it. We need to be doing it clearly in a green form. If we look at what is the challenge for energy, so 80% of the problem of carbon today that we have is linked to energy, and that what is that we need to really fight. Our studies show that 70% of these carbon emission can be removed with technologies that are available today. And the question is how? So if we look at it, we break it into two parts. One is the supply side, which is what we call here in this chart as decarbonize, that we can decarbonize the supply of energy, we can make it green. Of course, it comes with smart grids that are going to ensure that we are able to distribute that energy. We can make sure that energy is available to everyone. And that is, we know that those solutions are available today. A large part of those solutions are available today. The other advantage that we have when we decarbonize is we hedge ourselves against energy cost. Because once you're moving to renewable, you are committing to a cost of electricity which is more or less fixed for you over the years. So that is the other collateral benefit that you get as you move towards green. The other side of the equation is, of course, the demand side. And then we divide the demand side into two parts. The first one is electrification, which is 30% of the solution. And this is happening right here. As I was walking inside, we saw TOG, which is the local champion for electric vehicle. And this is the one that we are seeing the most. But at the same time, there are other forms of electrification in the process industries. We do a lot of molecules that we burn today in terms of heating and cooling in our processes that we need to change, and we can move to electricity around that. And again, electricity is the cleanest form of energy because it could be decarbonized. Another part is that electricity, when we are directly using electricity, just as in an electric car or in an electric pump, these are the most efficient forms of energy. You could use much higher levels of efficiency as when you are using electricity than when you are burning molecules. We typically say that when you use a molecule to burn and convert to electricity, you are getting 1 out of the 3 units that you are burning. So clearly the efficiency of generating directly electricity and using that is much, much more efficient than going through this full process. The last part is about efficiency, which we call as digitize, energy efficiency. And the reason why we call it digitize is because only when it is digitized that you can drive energy efficiency. We gave you those examples before of Vervo, of Turkcell, of the industrial zones. They are able to do that because they have digitized, and through digitization, we are making electricity visible. We are making energy visible. We can have it on our phones. We could have it on different places and are able to monitor, manage, control, and therefore reduce that energy. So that's a big equation, and we need to be working more on that. The solutions from Schneider Electric are there to be able to help you move in that direction and accelerate this path of energy transition. Now, The other question is always about economics, and sustainability and economics go together. And this myth is broken because you see right here a lot of studies saying that using the technologies of energy efficiency as well as energy transition, 2 trillion of estimated savings are forecasted by 2030. And if you look at different applications, whether it's in buildings, whether it's in machines, whether it's in industry, most of the time, yes, there is an investment, but the payback is between 3, 5, but in all cases less than 10 years. There's a price, there is an investment, but then there is a payback, and more importantly, that you are most of the time hedging yourself against the future cost inflation that potentially will not happen once you have adopted all of these technologies. Once again, bringing out the example of Setup Shipyard, with whom we have been working for the last several years through our sustainability teams with the experts that are helping get SEDEF get on the path of decarbonization, and you can see that they have been claiming a 32% energy efficiency, energy reduction over the last 3 years, and all of that is contributing towards the payback. So what do all these mean? It means that clearly, as the times are changing, companies need to, more than ever, to have more resilience, have more efficiency, have more management of uncertainty, being more agile. This is what is required by us. Now, how to do that? The first part of the equation, as we say, is digital. We talked about it. At Schneider Electric, we have been driving significant innovations around automation, software, and data. We have our expertise across different applications, whether it's around the grid, whether it's around building, whether it's around process machines, process automation, or discrete automation. We have that full liner. My colleague Barbara is going to talk later more in depth about it. The good news is that with digital, we can disrupt automation and make it all software defined. The second part is around electric, and this is where what we are saying is that, again, a lot of innovation around what we are doing with energy to make it much more electric, to see how we are able to innovate, to bring Electricity 4.0. You will hear from my colleague Olivier to talk about how that is making the difference. And clearly, this Electricity 4.0 is very crucial in this transition of energy demand as well as decarbonization of the energy supply. So all of these solutions, between energy management on one side, where we have leading solutions in the world, and here in Turkey, whether it's around medium voltage, low voltage, or down to the wiring devices, which we deliver through our Gunsan brand here, all of them on one side. Industrial automation, which is we are leaders in safety, we are leaders in contactors, we are leaders in other forms of automation, in motion, in robotics. We are able to bring all of that together. Now, what you get with Schneider is very unique, that on one side you have the energy portfolio, you have the automation portfolio, and together they are converging into software, sustainability, and services that we are then able to deliver to you. We bring software through our agnostic platform of companies with Aveva, with ETAP, that we are building on. And together with services, we want to be your lifelong partner so that we can work together to bring circularity, to increase the lifespan of your products through our solutions, but also ensure at the same time that the uptime and the efficiency that you're getting is only increasing. And we, of course, overlay all of that with the AI engine, which is going to make sure that that happens on a much faster basis for you in the future. To deliver that, we have built what we call as a Connect platform, which is again very, very unique because it brings all our agnostic software companies together around one ecosystem. It is a very unique platform because it is bringing both the commercial value and a technical value at the same time. You can choose one software and then move to the second software on the same platform. And they are seamlessly interconnected. All of that will feed data into one data model, which is secure, which is time-stamped, which is real-time, that you can access, and you can drive other artificial intelligence or other applications on top of that. So very unique system with one data. You can drive your, across the softwares, with the merge of hardware, you can drive the full digital twin using those softwares, therefore taking better decisions and ensuring that you have a much higher efficiency of your CapEx, for example. The users are able to get one experience on that platform, and of course, it is a very unique system because it gives one empowered ecosystem that you are able to use across your full organization. So very unique, and only Connect can deliver that. Of course, it comes together on top of the EcoStruxure platform that Schneider has built, which is delivering all the efficiencies that we talked about earlier. So this is all of this excitement that Schneider is bringing is what drives us. It what drives us to our purpose of creating impact and empowering everyone to use the most of their energy. And this is what we call as life is on. We invite you to experience it. We invite you to embrace it. We invite you to move on this journey of software sustainability so that you can have an impact for your companies and for your customers. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the session.